moderate this next pilot project about the access of women to traditional sectors. We have with us two women who have an exceptional career with Total, Manoelle Lepoutre, who is the Senior Vice President and Civil and Society Engagement at Total, and Executive Officer of the Total Foundation in Iraq, in the Middle East. Thank you very much for being with us today to talk about this. I think it would be interesting to talk about the question of gender inclusion in Total in order to within the transformation dynamics in the group, and also the evolution of these positions. We'll start with you, Manoelle. You have worked your whole career within the Total group. How do you see how this matter can be managed, this key concept? Oh, I cannot hear the speaker. I don't think the delegate put their microphone on. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to take part in this meeting. For many people, changes have been very quick the last few years. In the past, we were centered on our economic projects, on an economic aspect of things. And little by little, we have and now our objective is to produce, to make things, easier, affordable for everyone. This will allow us to diversify the culture and in many aspects. Company innovate within the objectives of the company, the way things are done, in order to cater for climate change. Key holders are not just the investors, the employees, but the whole company. Have to change with the company changing as well. And sometimes they are the solution, of course, by innovating and by progressing within diversity. That's why awareness is very important to have mixed groups as well, with men and women in management. For equity and ethical reasons, of course, but also for efficiency reasons. It's always best when we think it's very important to have this. And we have to be aware that we have to change the way of thinking. And women are part of this diversity. In order to carry on with this, within this context, maybe Dunia, you could tell us a little bit more. You have joined the Total Group a few years ago. You are very responsible. You have a high level of responsibility in Iraq, in a region which is very interesting with regards to gender inclusion. What do you think about the access of women to these high-level positions? Thank you, Salima. First of all, thank you for inviting me to this conference. I totally agree what Manoelle said. regarding multiculturalism and diversity, which the total group has enabled and applied, and we are in a, we used to be in a war situation in our country. The situation is very unstable now. There's lots of soldiers and tanks everywhere in the street. But Total managed to work within this context and was very well accepted in Iraq and within the group. In this work, we have to encourage multiculturalism, to promote it, to include diversity under all its forms, and it's one of our strengths within our groups. Within this background, you will work and have a strong product. Within the group, Rite, I'm a woman, I'm not French, I'm not an engineer. And then I think things very differently to what an engineer would say or think. I wouldn't say it's about tolerance, but more about inclusion. We have to make sure that we apply integration in every situation. When you're a general manager, you have to ensure that this is accepted. It's mainstream now, this type of behavior, which is good news. And bounce on this, Dunia. Do you think that this type of behavior is in the DNA of the company? Diversity and inclusion for women. When in your work, as you said, you're not an engineer, you're a foreigner, you're a woman. What factors enable you to succeed within your personal progression, which enable you to access to this high-level position? To be honest, I didn't have many obstacles. I put the obstacles within my path myself. I thought maybe because I'm not an engineer, I thought I wasn't at the right level and I had this imposter syndrome. I was, I'm very good with maths and arithmetic and also very good with writing. And nevertheless, it hasn't been a problem for me. People trusted me and they offered new opportunities for my career. And I was supported by my managers as well. Good work is good work, whether it's from a man or a woman. And discipline and excellence are, of course, very important within the group. And so, yeah, when you do your job well, things are a lot easier. It's a little bit more about your progression. Well, I was always apologized for not being an engineer, and somebody told me, stop apologizing, you're not an engineer, but, you're bringing other things to the company. So I had more the imposter syndrome within the company, and I learned to, not to do this anymore. And I know many women are the same, and, I try to go beyond it with my colleagues' help. Journey, you success factors. you started as an engineer, as a geologist. You were trained as a geologist. And I read somewhere that you were one of the youngest engineers within the company. So I imagine that this journey was had different steps, was made of different steps, and important steps as well within this journey. I was an engineer, yes, and I started working when the works, the company was dominated by males and by men. My job, being an engineer, was considered a male job, and it was a difficult thing to bear. Similarly to, doctors, women doctors at the time. As an engineer, as a geologist, I had to move forward, and today, women normally follow their husband. We have to, express ourselves, be confident, and sure that the family accepts the woman and not the other way around. I didn't have any personal ambitions as such, but I wanted to succeed and have an impact in society and in my. And I decided I had to do what I wanted to do, which is not the case for some women today. Then you have to understand the problems, the issues when you're in the minority. In some meetings, you have the feeling of not being listened to. You have an idea, you're not listened to, and another male colleague talks about the same thing, and then yes, it's accepted, and you have to have humor, when you're trying to affirm yourself, and you have to have sponsors as well, work with them, listen to them, listen to advice, and be confident. And after a while, the roles are reversed and you are noticed for efficiency. And yes, you both mentioned this sponsoring aspect of things. And maybe to finish on one last question linked to management rather than anything else within the feminine world, the female world. I think we have about 25%. We had 25% women who were managers and directors in 2020. Are you exceptions within Total, as I think this is the case? And how do you see the management role of women within the group? Maybe Manoelle, you could tell us something. There is no female or male management as such. We all bring something. We all bring some competencies as men and women. Some women have so-called male competencies and vice versa. So when I was named as a director, there was only 3% of women who had the management roles, and today we're 28%, and things are progressing in this way. But we have to work throughout our career to empower women and make sure that things progress. 25% of women in management roles. I think things are going to get better and better as time goes on. What do you think about this, Dunia, about management in the Middle East? If I have to admit that being a woman in Iraq made me quite nervous at the beginning. I'm not a woman, I'm not an engineer, and, there's so many male engineers, petroleum engineers who were highly trained and, I'm sorry, the connection is not good. I cannot hear anything.
Ingénieurs devant des petroleum engineers qui sont quand même très old school. Et tout de suite technique, mais qui s'installe dans la confiance et humainement un peu un peu plus détendu. Et la deuxième chose, c'est que ils ont trouvé que c'était quand même fort pour une compagnie multi-énergie de nommer une femme dans un pays compliqué.
Complètement. Écoutez,
so this was, I'm hoping for the best. I'm touching wood, but I'm glad I've done what I have done. And I try to have as many women as possible within my team. And I was very, very well supported, extremely well supported by women colleagues who were very helpful at the beginning and up to now as well. So yes, making sure that women have an equal role is a good idea. Thank you very much, Manoelle and Dunia. I'm sorry we don't have much time. We could have talked about so many things today, but I feel very optimistic about things. So many women want to join so-called male Finns, but I thank you now, both of you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.